Hope you're all well and enjoying your virtual classes. We're going to start just a little bit of foam rolling. We're not going to use them very much throughout this session, but we will start you up on in your goalpost position just to stretch through your pecs. So if you haven't already rolled yourself out, feel free to just pause the video and the class and roll yourself out. If you have rolled yourself out and you're ready to go, we're going to lie up on our rollers. A couple of reminders, make sure your space is safe, so not too much stuff around you. Make sure you've got room to do your class safely. Listen to your body. I'll offer some variations as we go through the exercises, some of the regressions and progressions, so things that make it a little bit easier and kinder to your body and things that will challenge you a little bit more, and you can choose where you want to be today. So we're going to lie up on our rollers. We're going to put our hips on one end and our head on the other end. If you don't want to be on your roller, or you've been relying on your roller for a little bit, then feel free to just lie on your mat. If you don't have a roller, then feel free to just lie on your mat. Otherwise, on your roller with me, wriggle yourself down, relax, make sure your head's on one end comfortably, and then we're going to go into goalpost position. We're just going to stretch our pecs out a little bit. We're going to relax and we're going to breathe some nice big deep breaths. So I don't want you to overthink the breathing just yet. We're actually going to visit that on the mat. We're just going to let ourselves stretch out for a little bit, opening up through the front of the chest. Elbows could tuck in towards your side and your waistline if you want a different style of stretch, and your arms can also come up further by your ears if you want a little bit of a different stretch. So you could work your way through those sort of three positions, or you can just hang in one, whichever one feels that it's giving you the best stretch to the front of your chest. Often our lives are quite sedentary, which can cause our shoulders to roll forwards, which will bring tension to the front of our chest and our pec area. We want to make sure that those muscles are stretched out and as relaxed as possible. So hanging in your goalpost position, whether you be on the floor or your roller, is a lovely way to do that. Alright, we're going to do one more movement. Choose your arm position, just hang there, or you can move your arms with me like I am. And then we're going to bring our arms down by our side, and we're actually going to come off of our rollers. So arms down by your side, choose one side, so roll to that side. Push your foam roller gently away from you and lie down on your back. Alright, so we're going to do our breathing here. So but the first thing I want you to do, just lie down, have your knees bent and bring your arms down by your side. We're going to do a little bit of a body scan. So we're going to see how our body feels at the beginning of the class, and we're going to see how our body feels at the end of the class. So start with your head, neck and shoulders, and think for me what is touching the mat and what isn't touching the mat. So your head's in the mat. When you think about your neck and your shoulders, what's touching? How does your left shoulder feel to your right shoulder? Maybe there's a little bit more of a gap between one or the other. I certainly feel that my right shoulder is further forwards, so I can feel that there's a higher gap between my shoulder and the mat. Then think about that in relation to your ribs. How does that feel? Where left ribs compared to right ribs is more touching the mat on one side, or do they feel that even? Down through your lower back, similar. What's touching the mat and what isn't, through to your hips as well. And just have a think about your arms. Start back at your shoulders and think about what's touching and what isn't. You're going to have your palms down. Think about how your hands feel. Does one hand feel higher? My mouse hand is my right hand, so my right hand always feels a little bit higher. My left hand's a little bit flatter. Come back to your hips. Think about how they feel, the base of your hips down near where your hamstrings and your butt connect. And then into your feet. How do your feet feel? What's touching and what isn't touching? Then we're going to take our hands, we're going to place our hands on our rib cage, and we're going to have our middle fingers touching each other. So middle fingers are touching, hands are resting on the base of our ribs, and we're going to breathe. Just check your head, neck and shoulder alignment for me. Make sure there's a nice little gap between your chin and your chest. And you're going to breathe. You can take some nice big deep breaths. You're breathing in through your nose if you can, and breathing out through your mouth. Big deep breath in, and then exhale to let that air out. And as you're taking your nice big deep breaths, work in your own time, I want you to think about the ribs that are touching the mat, your back ribs. I want you to think of breathing into those ribs. So that's going to make you breathe posteriorly into the back of your lungs. And you should feel your ribs gently pushing on your mat. 2 more breath patterns like that. As you breathe in, You should feel your ribs moving underneath your hands. Your ribs should be pushing into the mat. Your middle fingers will be coming apart, and then you exhale to let all that air out. And one more breath pattern for me. Big deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. We'll leave one hand on our rib cage. We're going to put one hand on our stomach. We're going to breathe with our bellies. So you're going to breathe in, and as you breathe in, you're going to feel your belly lifting up underneath your hand. And then as you breathe out, you're going to feel that belly gently dropping down. So we're diaphragmatically breathing now. Breathing in, you feel your belly lift underneath your hand. Breathing out, you feel that belly dropping. So you're going to take those nice big deep breaths as your belly lifts and lowers. You'll feel movement underneath your hand. Now that movement is created with your diaphragm pushing on your internal organs. So they're getting a little massage. And as they get that nice little massage, your abdominal wall muscles are warming up because everything is moving. We're going to do one more breath pattern like that. Big deep breath in, you'll feel that belly lift, and then exhale to let that air out. We're going to bring our arms down by our side. We're going to reach our fingers down towards our toes. Not so much that our shoulders start to lift off of the mat, but so much that our shoulders are away from our ears. We're going to keep our ribs still. So lying on the mat, you can feel all of your rib cage touching the mat. You want to keep them touching. You're going to keep the connection between your front rib and your pelvis. So where the base of your rib cage is and your pelvis, you want to maintain that gap. You don't want that gap to get any bigger. Okay, we're going to do some arm arcs. We're going to take a breath in, and we're going to breathe out as we float our arms to the ceiling. We're just coming to the ceiling, and then we're bringing them down. We're just going to do a few like this to pattern our body and our brain. Inhaling first, exhale to float those nice long arms to the ceiling, and then bring them down. So front ribs are still. You've maintained your rib to hip connection. It'll feel a little bit like you're pushing your ribs down towards your pelvis. That is a gentle push. We're not jamming anything on. Okay, we're going to start to take those arms further back. So you'll come to the ceiling and you're going to go further back, but you're only going to the distance that you can without any of your ribs moving. And then arms come all the way down by your side. As your arms go backwards, I want an exhale breath. So exhale, arms go backwards just to the range that's comfortable for you, and then you're bringing your arms back down. So you're going to keep going in your own time. Everybody's breath pattern and range is a little bit different. As you breathe out, it's going to help you maintain that rib to hip connection. If we had reversed the breath pattern and we were breathing in, it would allow you to move your ribs easier. By breathing out, it's helping you keep your ribs still. Arms are nice and long and straight. Try not to bend your elbows. And you might find as you keep going, you get that little bit further back. We're going to do 3 more. Breathing in first, breathe out to float those arms to the ceiling. Nice long breath. Keep them long and straight for me. And then return them back down to your side. Make a note of what's happening with your ribs still. You've got 2 to go. Inhale first, exhale. And then bring them all the way down. We're going to do 1 more. Breathe in, breathe out. Nice long arms. And then bring them all the way back down by your side. You're going to leave your arms down by your side. You're going to have your palms down. You're going to wriggle your knees and feet together so they now are touching each other. You're going to keep your pelvis nice and still. We're going to do some bent knee fall out. We're going to lead it with our left leg. We're going to take a breath in. We're going to breathe out to allow our left leg to go out towards the side without letting our right leg move. And then we're going to pull that left leg back to the center line. We're going to alternate sides. You're going to move your right leg, your left leg doesn't move, and bring it in. So you're going to keep alternating sides in your own time. As you're going, the movement is nice and smooth. Smooth and it's controlled. And the range that you're going, that depends on your pelvis. So you want your pelvis to stay still. If you feel your pelvis and your hips starting to tip out towards the side, then don't take that leg quite so far. You could put your hands on your pelvis if you wanted to feel what was happening. You could imagine that rest across your 2 hip bones is a spirit level, and you want to keep that spirit level on the level, so there should be no movement. The range that you go may be different from left to right, and that's okay. Either way, the movement is smooth and controlled, and the opposite leg is stable. So as one leg goes out, you try not to let the opposite leg move. If you feel the opposite leg moving, then you're likely to be having a little bit of movement through your pelvis. And remember, the breath is always designed to assist you. So try to breathe out as your leg goes out and breathe in to bring it back in. You're going to do one more on each side. Allow the leg to go out towards the side and return to the center. Let's do one more. I want you to make sure you finish on your right hand side. When you're back in the middle, you're going to pause. You're going to wriggle your feet back into hip width distance apart. If your arms are not down by your side, you're going to bring your arms back down by your side, and we're going to turn our palms to the ceiling. So nice broad shoulders there. We're going to stand firmly in our feet, and we're going to do some pelvic tilts. So you're standing on your big toe, your little toe, and right across through your heel. You're going to take a breath in. You're going to breathe out to roll your pelvis backwards and allow your spine to flatten into the mat. And then you're going to breathe in and allow your pelvis to roll forwards and let your back arch. So gently roll backwards. Exhale, breath for me. Inhale, breath. Allows the pelvis to roll forwards. So roll forwards and backwards in your own time. Your inhale breath you're trying to do through your nose. Your exhale breath you're trying to do through your mouth. If that breath pattern through your nose and out through your mouth bothers you, then just breathe whatever way is comfortable, but just make sure you're breathing. Knees are relatively still. Try not to let them wobble around too much. Your head's going to move. Your chin will pop in towards your chest and your chin will pop up towards the ceiling. One more each way. Gently roll the pelvis away. Allow the back to arch. Roll into neutral and then rest. Moving from your wrists as opposed to your shoulders, I'm going to get you to swivel your palms down. I'm going to get you to engage your arms gently into your mat. So it's going to help you switch your back muscles on. You're still standing firmly in your feet. We're going to go into some bridges. We're going to take a breath in. As we breathe out, we're going to roll our pelvis backwards, our spine imprints, and then we're lifting our hips right up off of the mat. Nice long straight line from our ribs to our hips to our knees. And then we're slowly articulating our spine down bit by bit. And we're going to roll our pelvis through neutral at the bottom. So you're going to inhale first. As you exhale, little tilt back, spine imprints. Float up into that nice elongated bridge and open up through your hips. Take a breath in there and then breathe out to come all the way down. Nice long breath and pelvis rolls through neutral. So you're going to bridge in your own time. As you're doing your bridge, you're standing firmly in those feet. If you feel the insides of your feet lifting, your calves are trying to get in on the action. Knees, they're still. They're relatively still and they're in line with your second toe. Try not to let your knees wobble around too much. 2 to go. Gentle tilt back, spine imprints, open up into your bridge. Get that nice stretch through the front of your hips and then slowly articulate down. Knees are stable. Nice long breath to help you move. You've got 1 to go. Inhale first, gentle tilt back, spine imprints, float up into your nice long strong bridge. Arms still gently engaged into your mat and the ground and slowly down. Rest for a microsecond. We're going to add some arm arcs into our bridges. We're going to do 4 of these. So the first thing that happens is the bridge. So you take a breath in, you're going to breathe out to float up into your bridge. You're going to float your arms to the ceiling. Nice long arms. You're going to pause here. You're going to take a breath in. You're going to breathe out to bridge yourself all the way down. Roll your pelvis through neutral at the bottom and then float your arms back down by your side. We're going to go again. Inhale first, gentle tilt back, spine imprints. Come up into your bridge position and hold it. Float your arms to the ceiling for me. Hold here. Take a breath in and breathe out to come all the way down. Allow that spine to articulate. Pelvis rolls through neutral. Arms return to your side. 2 to go. Inhale first. Breathe out to come up into your bridge. Hold that position. Float your arms to the ceiling. Articulate down through your bridge for me. Remember those knees of yours are still stable. Pelvis rolls. Arms return to your side. Last one. Inhale first. Gentle tilt back. Up you go into your bridge. Hold there. Float your arms to the ceiling. Down you come. Through each vertebrae in your spine. Allow the pelvis to roll through neutral and float your arms down by your side. Let's take our left leg to the ceiling. Let's interlace our hands behind our thigh and pull that left leg towards your chest. So nice little stretch to the back of your leg and your hamstring. Now pull your toes towards your nose. Point your toes to the ceiling. Toes to nose, toes to ceiling. If that bothers your foot, if it bothers that neural floss bothers you, then just focus on the hamstring stretch. Okay, 2 more each way. Toes to nose, toes to ceiling. Last one. And then return the foot down to the ground. Let's do the right leg. Right leg comes to the ceiling, interlace the hands, Pull the leg towards you, get that nice stretch through the back of your leg. You could slide your hands down your calf a bit more if you wanted. Otherwise, you're holding onto the back of your thigh. Neural, toes to nose, toes to ceiling. Toes to nose, toes to ceiling. Flex and point, flex and point. 2 more. Toes to nose, toes to ceiling. Last one. Lower the leg down. Knees remain bent, feet return down to the mat. Arms are down by your side. We're going to do some leg circles. We're going to do them on a 45-degree angle. You're going to start with your left leg. So if you float it up to 90 degrees and then stretched out on a 45-degree angle. So this should put both of your knees roughly in line with each other. I want you to point your toes and I want you to draw me some circles. So not too big. You want to be able to keep your right leg still. Nice big deep breath still. And your circle is round. You've got length in your leg. You're trying to touch your toes on the wall that's on the opposite side of your room. Reverse the direction. Keep your breathing going. Take a note of what's happening with your right leg. Is it moving or is it still? Try to keep it still for me. Maintain that length in your left leg. You've got 2 circles to go. Once you've done your 2, you're going to bend your knee and return your foot to the ground. Then float your right leg up. Stretch it out long and straight for me. Point your toes. And away you go, circles. Nice round circles. Keep the left leg as still as you can now. Keep your breathing going, nice big deep breaths. Keep that toe pointed, is going to help you get lengthen through the front of your leg. Reverse the direction. Inhaling and exhaling. Keep your breathing going, nice big deep breaths. Okay, 2 circles to go. And then pause, bend your knee and place your foot down to the ground. Float your arms straight up towards the ceiling for me. Palms are facing away from you, arms are nice and long. Long fingers, broad shoulders though. We're going to take a breath in, and as you breathe out, you're going to lift your head, neck and shoulders up. You're going to bring your arms down to hover off of your mat. Gaze down between your thighs for me, and then come all the way back down onto your mat. So tummy muscles are switched on. Take a breath in, breathe out to lift your head, gaze down between your thighs, nice long arms for me. And then lower yourself all the way down. Keep the shoulders broad and wide. Try not to let them curl forwards. Inhale, exhale, up you come. Gaze down between those legs and lower yourself all the way down. You've got 1 to go. Inhale first, exhale, up you come. Lower yourself all the way down. Now you can stick with that level with your legs down, or you can come with me and float them up to tabletop. Float one leg up to tabletop. Hold it there. Take a breath in. Second leg joins it. Shins are parallel towards the ceiling. Nice long arms. Take a breath in, breathe out, lift head, neck and shoulders up, gaze down between your legs, and then lower yourself all the way down. Feet could be down if you prefer. Inhale, exhale, up you come, nice broad shoulders. I want you to look down to the middle of your legs, and then lower yourself all the way down. We're going to do 2 more. Inhale first, exhale, up you come, and lower down. You've got 1 to go. Inhale first, breathe out to lift head, neck and shoulders, gaze to those thighs, lower yourself down, pause there. Lower one leg down to rest, lower your other leg down to rest, bring your arms down by your side. Wriggle your knees and feet together to touch. Drop your knees over to the left side of your mat and take your gaze over your right side and hang there. Folks, in a second we're going to roll through a set of hundreds. You're going to breathe in and you're going to breathe out. You breathe in for 5 counts and you breathe out for 5 counts. Pull your legs through the center and drop them over to the other side. You're going to do 10 rounds of that. That makes up your 100 air breaths and your 100 arm pumps. I'll let you into secret. I tend to count them with my fingers. So as I'm pumping, I'm just pushing 1 finger down, 2 fingers down, 3rd finger goes down. That's how I count them. Inhaling for 5, exhaling for 5, using my fingers to assist me. Let's go back to the first side. Legs go back to the left, gaze goes over the right shoulder. So if you keep with me, then you'll be on doing 100 anyhow. So you don't necessarily need to count. If you want to count, that's the best way to do it. Okay, choices. So you can keep your legs down on the floor, you can have your legs into tabletop, or you can have your legs to the ceiling or on a 45-degree angle. Last one, run the stretch, bring your knees to the right, gaze over your left shoulder. So the legs can be down, your knees would be bent, they could be in tabletop, to the ceiling or on an angle. Head choices. Your head could be down. Your head can be supported by one hand. Now come back into the middle and rest for a second. So your head could be down, you could just be pumping. Your head can be up. Your head can be supported with one hand. You can put your head down and give it a rest and keep going with your arm pumps. It's up to you. So, if you feel you're staying down, just bring your arms, bring your feet, your knees bent and your feet just a little bit closer towards your hips. We're all going to start with our palms up, so you're going to turn your palms to the ceiling. Now, if you're coming to tabletop, you're going to float one leg to 90 degrees and hold it there. You're going to take a breath in, you're going to bring it up to join it. Then, you're going to breathe in, you're going to breathe out. We're lifting our head, we're looking down between our thighs. If you want to move your leg position, you can move your leg position. You're going to inhale to pump up, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, pump down, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhaling up, 2, 3, 4, 5, and down, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhaling up, 2, 3, 4, 5, and down, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhaling up, 2, 3, 4, 5, and down, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhaling up, 2, 3, 4, 5, and down, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhaling up, 2, 3, 4, 5, and down, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhaling up, 2, 3, 4, 5, and down, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhaling up, 2, 3, 4, 5, and down, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2 more sets. Up, 2, 3, 4, 5, and down, 2, 3, 4, 5. And last one. Up, 2, 3, 4, 5, and down, 2, 3, 4, 5. Bring your head, neck, and shoulders down. Bring your knees in towards your chest. Hug them in. Let's do a little roll around of our spine. Pardon me. A little turn of the head from side to side if you like. That'll take any tension out of your neck. Reverse the direction. If you've been rolling one way, you're going to roll the other way. I'm just going to grab a sip of water while you roll your spine. Hang there and breathe. Alright, float your feet down onto the mat. Stretch your legs out long. Take your arms over the top of your head. A long full body stretch. So open your fingers, stretch through your hands, point your toes away from you. A couple of big deep breaths there. Breathe in and breathe out. I'm just going to have another sip of water. And then when you're ready, it's up to you how you choose to do it. You can come with me. We're going to roll directly onto our side. So you could still have your arms over your head, roll onto your side and relax. Then wriggle yourself into position, roll onto your side, however's good for you. Knees are bent, feet are tucked back roughly in line with your hips. I'm going to get you to rest your head on your arm. Now that arm could be bent, could be straight. If you've got a pillow that you prefer to have your head on, you can have your head on a pillow. Whatever your head is on, I do want your head, neck and shoulders organised. So your chin's up off of your chest, should see you looking directly across the room. Knees are bent, feet are tucked behind you, so you don't want your knees too far forwards. Hand comes on your hip, push your hip away from you, create that little space underneath your waistline and a stack of your pelvis. Now that hand can stay on your hip or it can come in front for some stability. Feet are going to stay touching. You're going to lift your top knee up off of your bottom knee and then you're going to lower it down. So you're going to open and close that hip joint. As you open and close that hip joint, your hips are not moving. Your feet stay touching each other. You're breathing. Your pelvis is stable and still. You can probably feel that underneath your hand if you've got your hand on your hip. Just opening and closing. You're nice and controlled. 2 more. Lift and lower. And last one. And then pause. Now, hand can stay on the hip, could be on the mat, it's up to you. Stretch the top leg out long and straight and flex your foot. Now, your heel should be in line with your hip, so you don't want your leg too far forwards. Have it directly in line. Still got that hip pushed away. Could have your hand on the mat if you prefer. Foot is flexed, toes pulled towards you. Lift your leg up towards the ceiling and then lower it down. So you're not lifting too high that you feel your waistline dropping down into the mat. Your toes are pulled towards your nose and your foot is flexed. Your breath is matching your movement, lifting and lowering, nice and controlled through the torso. The head, neck and shoulder alignment remains. Gently lift the leg up and then lower it down. 2 to go. Float the leg up, lower it down. Last one. Keep the leg long and straight, just rest the foot on the mat for a microsecond. We're going to kick forwards and backwards next. We're going to go flex foot forwards, pointed toe backwards. Hand could be on the mat if you prefer, it's up to you, it doesn't matter. Lift your leg up with your flex foot, kick forwards in front of you, point your toe, take your leg backwards behind you, remember your hip needs to be still. Flex your foot as you come forwards, point your toe as you go backwards. If you want to challenge yourself, you could stretch the bottom leg out long and straight. You don't need to. The bottom leg bent gives you a little bit more support. It's entirely up to you. I'm going to keep my bottom leg bent today. Flexing and pointing, keeping the length in the leg. Inhale as you come forwards. Exhale as you go backwards. 2 to go. Inhale forwards. Exhale backwards. Last one, bring it forwards. Take it backwards. Bring it to the center line and lower the leg down. If your hand is not on the mat, I want you to bring it forwards and put it on the mat in front of you. If your bottom leg is still bent, I want you to stretch your bottom leg out long and straight. I want you to bring both of your feet slightly forwards, about 10 to 15 centimeters, not too far. A little bit of a weight into the hand that's on the mat, but not your whole body weight. You're not leaning into that hand. Going to hip openers. Turn the top leg so it rotates towards the ceiling. Take your toes from your ankle to your knee. Kick your leg up nice and high and then flex your foot as you return it down to the ground. Toes glide from ankle to knee. Kick up nice and high. Flex the foot as you bring it down. Let it flow. Ankle to knee. Kick up and down. Take a little note of what's happening with your hips and your pelvis. That little gap that you created within your waistline. Try and keep it there. Try not to let your hips roll around. Try not to let your waistline drop it down into the mat. Use your breath to assist you. Let's do one more. Ankle to knee. Keep the leg up and flex the foot as you bring it all the way down. Rest. So it might be easiest for you to roll over. I'm going to put my head down the other end of the mat. Whatever you choose to do, just take your time getting there. Don't want you to get dizzy. As you come down, we're going to go into clams first. So we've got knees bent, feet tucked back in line with our hip. Head's resting on your arm. Arm could be straight, could be bent. You could use a pillow if you prefer. But you are looking across your room so that your head, neck and shoulders is organised. That should take your gaze across the room. Hand on your hip for me. Feet stay touching. Push your hip away. Create that little space within your waistline. Keeping your hand on your hip or putting it on the mat in front of you. It's up to you. You lift your top knee up off of your bottom knee and then lower it down. So you're opening and closing that hip joint. Your hips are still. They're nice and stable. Your breath is matching your movement, inhaling and exhaling. The rest of the body is not moving. Nice and controlled through the torso. Use your hands on your hip. You'll be able to give yourself a bit of feedback as to what's happening, but I don't want you to hold your hip still. Allow your breath to help you to move. Gently lift and lower. You've got one to go. Lift and lower. Wonderful. Hand can stay on your hip. Come on the mat if you prefer. Stretch your top leg out long and straight and flex your foot, toes towards your nose. Lift your leg up towards the ceiling and then lower it down. So the lift is only as high as you can maintain the gap that's in your waist. If you feel your hips tipping backwards, then you're probably lifting a little bit too high today. And each day might be different, depending on what's going on with your body. If you want to have the bottom leg stretched out to challenge yourself a little bit more, feel free to do so. Otherwise, your bottom leg is bent. I'm keeping my bottom leg bent. Nice long breaths, 2 to go. Lift the leg up and then lower it down. And last one. Bring the foot down onto the mat, let it rest for a microsecond. Going forwards and backwards in a minute. Forwards is flexed foot, backwards is pointed toe. Hand position, entirely up to you. Lift your leg up to hip height, flex your foot, kick forwards, point your toe, go backwards. Inhale to come forwards. Exhale to go backwards. Flex foot forwards, pointed toe backwards, nice long legs. So you're trying to scrape your heel on the wall on the opposite side of the room. Point the toe, take the leg backwards, get that nice opening through the front of your hip, but remember your pelvis is not moving. Nice long breaths to match your movement. Gliding the leg forwards, gliding it backwards. You've got 2 to go. Inhale to come forwards, exhale to go backwards. Last one. Pause in the center, lower the leg down. If your hand's not already on the mat, bring it on the mat in front of you. Stretch your bottom leg out long and straight if it's not already straight for me. Bring your feet slightly forwards, 10 to 15 centimeters, not too much. Bit of weight into your hand, but not too much. Turn your top leg so your knee rotates to the ceiling. Take your toes from your ankle to your knee. Kick your leg up nice and high and then flex your foot as you return the foot down. Ankle to knee, kick high, flex on the way down. So it's like you're sliding your toes up your leg and you're flexing the foot as you bring that down. So you're opening up through that hip. Take a little note of what's happening with your pelvis and your waistline. Try not to let it drop down into the mat. Glide your toes from your ankle to your knee. Kick your leg up nice and high and flex the foot to bring it down. Use your breath. Inhale, exhale. 2 to go. Ankle to knee, kick up and down. And last one. Lovely. Rest for a second. We're going to flip onto our stomachs. We're going to do some prone extension. We're going to move that into some swans. And again, I'm going to give you some levels to choose from. So flip yourself over. We're going to start in our goalpost position. So if you can have your forearms and your hands a little bit wider than your mat. Legs are out long. Have them touching each other for me. And start with your head resting on the mat. Shoulders away from your ears. So shoulders are back and down. Tummy muscles are switched on, so you can feel your belly button trying to lift up off of the mat. Going to keep very little pressure in our arms. We're going to take a breath in. We're going to breathe out to lift our face, lift our chest up off of the mat, and then we're going to lower all the way down. We're just coming to the bottom of our ribs. Inhaling first, exhale, up you come, and then lower down. So get yourself moving. And start to take your focus to your arms. What's happening there? How much pressure are you putting in your arms? Or are you allowing your back muscles to do the work? Breathing out to come up. And breathing in to come down. We're going to do 2 more. We're warming the spine up. Up you come. A little pressure in those arms and then lower yourself down. Last one. Inhale first. Exhale, up you come. And lower down. Okay. Now you can stick with that level, or you can come with me and we're going to move up to straighter arms. The key is to think about length in your spine, long bodies. So take a breath in, breathe out to come up to the bottom of your ribs. If you're comfortable to keep coming higher up, you're going to peel your spine up off of the mat. The highest you might come is to straight arms. You don't need to come to straight arms. And then you're going to peel yourself back down to the mat. So breath pattern. Inhale first, exhale, up you come. Just to straight arms if that's comfortable, or go where is comfortable for your body today. Hands, you can use them here. So once you get past the bottom ribs, start to feel like you're pushing your hands away from you. And then when you come down, feel like you're trying to pull your hands towards you. So it's going to help you lengthen your spine. Inhale first, exhale, up we go. Feel like you're pushing your hands away from you, and then peel yourself down. Feel like you're pulling those hands back towards you. We're going to do 2 more. Inhale first, exhale, up you come, like you're pushing your hands away from you, and then peel yourself all the way down. We've got 1 to go. Breathing in first, breathe out to come up, and then peel yourself all the way down. Okay, we're going to go into a little child's pose stretch. So we're going to take our backside back towards our heels. If you prefer your arms to be down by your side, that's fine. Put your arms down by your side. Otherwise, arms in front is quite nice. A little bit of a gap between your knees. Sink your butt back towards your heels and stretch. Nice big deep breaths. Again, I'm just going to have a bit of sip of water. A dry throat too. Hang there. Enjoy that stretch for a second. Then we're going to bring you forwards. We're going to come back down onto our stomachs. This time we're going to do some heel beats. We're going to rest our head on our hands. So, 1 hand in front, 1 hand rests on top of the other. Head's rested on your hands. Now if you prefer, you can actually turn your head sideways. Otherwise your forehead is resting on your hands. Shoulders are down, so watch your shoulders don't crawl up by your ears. Legs are long. Tummy muscles are switched on, so you feel like you've got your belly button lifted up off of the mat. When you do your heel beats, your legs are straight. So, take a breath in, breathe out to float both legs up. Turn your toes out, turn your heels in towards each other, and start to tap, 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 tap. So nice, big, deep breaths. Strong heel beats for me. Body's relatively still. Try not to let yourself bounce. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause and lower your legs down. Shoulders stay nice and relaxed. Tummy muscles are switched on. Take a breath in, breathe out to lift your legs up, turn your heels in towards each other and start to tap, 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 tap. So nice and controlled, strong heel beats, body stable, keep your breathing going. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause and lower them down. We're going to do one more set. Stomach muscles are switched on still. Take a breath in, breathe out to lift those legs, turn those heels in towards each other and start to tap, 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 tap. So nice and controlled, body stable, breathing, keep your breath going. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause and lower legs down. Prop yourself up on your elbows for me. So we're propped up on our elbows and we're going to rest one hand on top of the other again. Shoulders nice and relaxed. Gaze is out in front of your hands. Little lift through your hips. So you're not hanging out watching telly. You've got your stomach muscles switched on. We're going to go into single leg kick. I want you to bend one knee, bring your foot to your bottom and pulse your leg twice. Stretch your leg out long and lower it down. Bring your foot towards your bottom, pulse it twice, stretch it out long and lower it down. As your foot comes to your bottom, little lift of the knee up off of the mat. When your foot comes to your bottom and you do your 2 pulses, your foot is flexed. When you lengthen the leg, the toe is pointed. Flex and point. Through both of those things, your knee should have a little lift up off of the mat. Remember those stomach muscles are still switched on. Gaze is out in front of you to keep your head in line with your spine. We're going to do one more on each side. Foot comes to bottom, pulse twice. Lengthen the leg long and lower. Last one. Out and down. With your left hand, reach back and hold your left foot for me. Swivel your right arm around so you can come right down onto your mat and gently pull your foot towards your backside. If your knee's a bit grumpy, be careful here. You should feel a nice stretch through your quad. You might even be able to lift your knee up off of the ground. Let go of that leg, lower it down, change sides. You can come back up onto your forearms to reach, or if you can reach from there, you'll just reach back. Either, doesn't matter. Swivel yourself back down if you've come up. Pull the foot towards your backside, get that stretch through your quad. Hang there for a few breaths, it should feel good. You might be able to get your knee up off of the mat on this side. If your knee's a bit grumpy, just sit out this section and then lower the leg all the way down. Let's come up onto all fours. We're going to do some quadruped. So wriggle yourself onto your hands and knees. Hands in line with shoulders, knees in line with hips. Weight bearing through the outside of your hands so you can physically lift your thumb up off of your mat. Gaze is out in front of you so your head's in line with your spine. There is a little gap between your knees so you've got a good base of support. You're in a box shape, okay? So your arms, your torso and your legs are the box. Broad across your shoulders. We're going to start with your arms. You can take a breath in. As you breathe out, you're going to slide your hand along the mat. You're going to lift your hand up in line with your shoulder. You're going to bring your hand back to your mat and glide it underneath. Change sides. Inhale first. Exhale, out you go. Bring it down. So alternate sides. As you alternate sides, keep your gaze on the spot on the mat that you were looking at initially. Arms are long. Shoulders are still. Still weight bearing through your little fingers. Allow your breath to help you to move and do the exercise. Alternating sides. Pause here. Let's move to legs. Weight bearing through those little fingers. Choose your first leg. Slide your toes along the mat. Lift your leg up in line with your hip. Put your toes to the mat and glide it underneath. Changing sides. Toes glide out. Lift. Toes come down. Toes glide in. Keep a little gap that's between your knees. Imagine there's a cup of coffee sitting on your pelvis. You don't want to spill that cup of coffee. Allow your breath to assist you to do the movement. Okay, we're going to go into opposite arm and leg. If you prefer to stick with singles, stick with singles. Take a breath in, breathe out to glide the opposite arm and leg out. Lift them up, keep the control as you return them to your mat. Alternate sides. Go out and up and bring them down. So again, alternate sides in your own time. Singles is fine, you can stick with that. Imagine there's a cup of coffee sitting on your pelvis. You are literally just trying to move your limbs. You're trying to not let your torso move. Okay, last one on each side. Inhale first, exhale, out you go. Bring them down. Last one. Inhale first, exhale out. Down, pause here. Little cat stretches. So let your head drop down between your arms, arch your back right up towards the ceiling and open through your spine. Allow your tummy to come down to the mat. Take your gaze across the room. Let's reverse that. Head drops down between your arms, arch your back right up towards the ceiling and open up through your spine. Allow your tummy to come down to the mat and your gaze across the room. One more each way. Inhale, exhale. Last one. Tummy comes down, gaze goes across the room. And then carefully come into neutral. We're going to put you into mermaid. So we're going to sit with one leg bent in front. I've got my right leg bent in front. Might be good to do the same with your right leg so my cues make sense. Left leg is tucked behind. Now, if your hip starts to pinch, you could stretch your leg out. If you have a pillow near you and you feel that your pelvis is uncomfortable, you could stick a pillow underneath that one hip. You would stick it underneath your right hip on this instance. So if you feel like you sort of feel a bit twisted, you could lift that hip up by sticking a pillow under there. At any point, you can stretch one leg out. That's perfectly fine. Otherwise, if it's comfortable for you in Mermaid Z sit, you're going to sit in Mermaid. So you're sitting up straight. So as opposed to relaxed, you've lifted your ribs up off of your pelvis and you're sitting straight. You're going to look across your room and find a spot for your eyes on the wall once you've sat up straight. Float your arms out towards the side. So your right palm is down, your left palm is up. Keep looking at your spot. Take a breath in, breathe out to bring your hand to the mat and reach over. And we're just going to come back to center today. So just back to where you started. Inhale first, exhale over you go. So we're just sticking with the one side for the moment. As you go over, your hip doesn't leave the mat. So try not to let your butt lift up off of your mat. Shoulders stay nice and relaxed. Your right elbow will soften and you're reaching as far as you can to get that stretch all the way down through your side. One more like this and then we're going to add some rotation. Inhale first, exhale over you go. Okay, now, same side, adding rotation. Breathe in, breathe out to go over. Take your hand, send it underneath your armpit. Look through underneath your armpit. Reach as far as you can. Now reverse that. De-rotate yourself. Bring your arm back above your head. And then come all the way back to the start. Take a breath in. Breathe out to go over. Inhale there. Exhale to add your rotation. Reach and reach and reach and reach and reach. De-rotate yourself. Look back to the front of the room. And all the way back up to the top. Shoulders relaxed. You've got 2 to go. Inhale first. Exhale, over you go. Add your rotation. Down and under. Look. Let your gaze follow that hand. Bring your arm back above your head. And then all the way back up to the top. We've got 1 to go. Inhale first. Exhale, over you go. Add your rotation. Through and under. Gaze can follow. Come back to the start. Through center. And arms rest. We're going to change sides. So flip your legs to the other direction. My left foot is now in front, my right leg is tucked behind. Again, if this bothers you on one side, you could stretch your leg out to stop it from pinching in your hip. You've lifted up off of your rib cage. You've looked across the room, found a spot for your eyes. You've stretched your arms out to the side. Your right arm is your palm up, your left arm is your palm down. You can take a breath in, you're going to breathe out to go over. Hand comes down, elbow softens, and reach. Come back through the center. You're just going to come to center. Inhale first, exhale over you go. Elbow softens, nice big reach, open up through that side. And then back you come. Gaze on your spot, inhale first, exhale over you go. Elbow softens, hand rests on the mat, reach, 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 and back you come. 1 to go, then we're going to add our rotation. Inhale, exhale over you go. Come back. Right, adding rotation, gaze can follow the hand. So go over first. Now, take that hand, send it underneath your armpit. Let your gaze follow it. Look to the hand. De-rotate yourself. Look back across the room. All the way back up to the top. Shoulders relaxed. Inhale first. Exhale, over you go. Add your rotation. Arm comes through and under. Gaze follows. De-rotate yourself. Look back across the room. And all the way back up to the top. You've got 1 to go. Inhale first. Exhale, over you go. Add your rotation. Rotate through and under. De-rotate yourself, look back across the room, come back to the top and rest. We're going to go into twist. Wriggle yourself around to be able to stretch your legs out. So I'm going to turn sideways. You might just be able to stretch your legs out where you are. Legs are long and straight, and we're going to flex our feet. So I want you to pull your toes towards your nose. If it's more comfortable for you to have your knees bent, feel free to bend your knees. Otherwise, with me, flexed feet. My arm positions across your chest, on your shoulders, or out to the side. I'm going out to the side today. Find a spot for your eyes across the room when you're sitting up nice and tall, and imagine that you have now drawn a black line around the room at that height. Your eyes are going to follow that. You're going to take a breath in. You're going to breathe out to twist yourself around. Your eyes are following your imaginary line. You're going to come back through the center, and then you're going to twist the other way. Your eyes are following your imaginary line. If your arms are out long and straight like mine, they are long and they are straight. Try not to bend those elbows. We're all sitting with our ribs lifted up off of our hips. Our shoulders are still well away from our ears. Our feet are still. We're trying not to let those feet move. If you feel your feet moving, like a clutch and accelerator movement, then your hips are moving. Gently push down on the foot that you happen to be twisting towards. Allow your breath to help you. Exhale to twist. One more each way. Inhale through the center. Breathe out to twist. Inhale back through the center. You've got one more exhale ready to go. When you're back into the middle, lower your arms down. Slide your arms down your legs. Reach forwards and just give yourself a little stretch. You might be holding onto your calves, your ankles. Perhaps you can touch your toes. Hang here for a second. And then let go. Slowly come up and sit tall for a minute and rest. All right. Wriggle yourself down towards the end of your mat. Have your toes lined up with the end of your mat and your knees bent. Knees and feet are touching. There is a gap of about 60 centimeters between your heels and your hips, okay? Sit up tall. We're going to do some half rollbacks. The depth is up to you. The further back you go, the harder it is. Legs are glued together. I don't want you to go all the way down. Not yet. Hands are going to slide up and down your legs, all right? They're not hanging on, they're just sliding. So feet touching, knees touching, thighs touching. It's going to help you switch your leg muscles on. Sit tall. Take a breath in. Exhale to bring your chin to your chest. Tilt your pelvis backwards, scoop your belly. Roll down, hands slide down your thighs. Pause there, take a breath in, and then breathe out to come all the way back up. Sit up nice and tall, shoulders away from the ears. Inhale first, tuck the chin to the chest, scoop the belly. Breathe out. Pause there. Take a breath in, and then come all the way back up. So the depth is up to you, but you are trying to keep your feet still. Try not to let them slide. Legs are glued together. Pause. Breath in. Come all the way back up. We're going to do one more. Inhale first, chin to chest. Exhale to roll backwards. Pause there. And then roll all the way up. Stretch your legs out long and straight for me. Now, you can stick with a half roll down that we were just doing, or you can come with me and do a full roll down. It's entirely up to you. Legs are out long and straight if you're coming with me. Arms are resting on the horizontal. First thing is to bring your chin to your chest, little tip of the pelvis backwards. You're going to exhale as you roll down, vertebrae by vertebrae. Arms are coming right over the top of your head. 2 breaths to come up. Inhale first. Exhale to float your arms to the ceiling. Breathe in again. Breathe out to come up. You need to breathe, otherwise you won't get through those sticky points. Half roll back is fine. You could have a little rest if you prefer. We're not going to be here for too long. If you want to have a little rest, that's perfectly fine. Arms going right over the top of your head. Keep your 2 breaths, but keep them flowing. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Roll yourself up, sit up nice and tall. We're going to do 2 more. Inhale first, tuck the chin to the chest. Picture your spine, it's going down bit by bit. Let your arms go right over the top of your head. Breathe in there. Breathe out. Inhale again. Exhale. Roll yourself up. Got 1 to go. Inhale first, chin to chest. Allow your spine to move. It's meant to move. Each vertebrae should move all the way over the top of your head. And last one to come up. 2 breaths. Rest for a second. Nope, I lied. 1 more roll down. We're going to stay down there though. Down you go. Come with me. Do a full roll down. Arms go over the top of your head. Circle your arms around and bring them down by your side. Okay, we're going to do some book openings. So roll onto your side. Again, you could have a pillow underneath your head. You could have your arms straight, or you're with me and your arm is bent. Feet are tucked back in line with your hips. Sometimes I line my hips and my feet up with the edge of my mat. That's really good feedback about where you are in space. Hand comes out on the floor in front of you and your hand's in line with your shoulder. So not too high, not too low. Gaze is across the room and knees are gently squeezed together. You're going to take a breath in. You're going to breathe out to bring your arm to the ceiling. Your gaze follows your hand. You're going to bring your hand back down to the floor. So inhale first, exhale, arm comes to the ceiling, gaze follows the hand, and then back to the floor. Okay, you're going to add some rotation. So your arm goes to the ceiling, you're rotating further back, your knees and hips are not moving. You're going to lengthen the arm to the ceiling and bring it all the way back to the floor. So gently keep those knees squeezed together. Inhale first, exhale, back you go. Open up through that chest, gaze follows the hand. Lengthen the arm to the ceiling and bring it back to the floor. And you do 3 more. As your arm comes to the ceiling, your shoulder blade glides into the middle of your spine. Your spine rotates as you go back. Your arm is nice and long. Your hips are not moving. Lengthen the arm to the ceiling and bring it back to the floor. You should feel your shoulder blade gliding. Arm comes up, shoulder blade glides into the middle of your spine, and then your rotation. Nice long breaths. Now bring it all the way home. We're going to do 1 more. We're going to hang out there. Inhale first, exhale, back you go. Open up through that chest. Find the point where you just cannot get any further without your knees moving, and that's where your knees can slip apart. Can come further to the ground, and breathe. Hang there and breathe. Nice big deep breaths. You should feel lovely stretch through your chest. Okay, squeeze your knees together, switch your stomach muscles on, lengthen your arm to the ceiling, and bring it back to the floor. So either roll yourself over or come with me and flip yourself to the opposite end of your mat. Same position. Choose how you like your arm to be, or your pillow, up to you. Chins up off of your chest. Watch with the pillow that you don't end up curling yourself too far forwards. And make sure your shoulders still away from your ears. So sometimes I used to see this kind of thing when we were in mat classes and I used to use pillows. So you still want your shoulders in alignment and your head's just resting on the pillow, okay? Feet tucked back, hand resting on the floor in front of you. Nice long arm, knees are squeezed together. Take a breath in, breathe out to bring the arm just to the ceiling. Gaze follows the hand and then bring it back to the floor. Inhale first, exhale, arm comes to the ceiling, gaze follows the hand, and bring it back to the floor. Going to go to rotation. Arm comes to the ceiling, go into rotation, keep your knees gently squeezed together. Lengthen the arm to the ceiling, and bring it back to the floor. Shoulder blades. Allow that shoulder blade to glide into the middle of your spine. Open up through the front of your chest. Your knees are not moving. Lengthen your arm back to the ceiling and bring it back to the floor. And do 3 more. Inhale first, exhale, back you go. Bring it to the ceiling and back to the floor. Knees are squeezed together. Rotating through that spine, shoulder blade glides, spine rotates. And back to the floor. We've got 1 to go, and this is the one we're going to hang out there. So you're going to go to the ceiling, you're going to go to rotation. You're going to find the point where you just cannot get any further before your knees move. And that's where you drop them back. Breathe here, inhaling and exhaling. Nice big deep breaths. Remember, breath facilitates movement. Stomach muscles switch on, knees squeeze together again. Lengthen your arm to the ceiling and bring it back to the floor. Okay, you're going to roll yourself onto your back. Wiggle yourself onto your back. Have your knees bent for me. We're going to do a bit of side to side. When we do side to side, I'm going to put you in tabletop. You could have your legs lengthened to the ceiling. That will increase the challenge. You could have your feet down. You can do it from here if you prefer. You can change to one of those as you go along. The key is to do them slowly. Make sure your abdominal muscles and your obliques are working. Hands. Slide them out onto the floor a bit wider than the mat and draw your shoulders down and back. So you're drawing your shoulders down. You've got nice long necks. Arms gently engaged, they're going to help you. Float one leg to 90 degrees and hold it there. Take a breath in, bring the second leg to join it, glue your knees and feet together. Now, if your knees have dropped too far in towards your chest and you feel your pelvis tip back, wriggle them away. If you look down, you can see your feet. Your feet are too high. You want them on the horizontal line. You should be in a neutral spine here. We're going to go to the left first. Take a breath in, breathe out. Allow your knees and feet to go to the left, just to the position that you can control. Then pull back to the center. Change sides. So, your shoulders should not be leaving the mat. If your shoulders are leaving the mat, you're going too far. Use your stomach muscles. You want to go nice and slow. Arms, use them. Engage them into the floor. They're going to help you stabilize. Knees and feet should stay touching. Try not to let them slip apart. Use your breath to help you. Inhaling and exhaling. If you want to challenge yourself, you could take your legs out on a log diagonal. Otherwise, you're going to keep them bent. If you're getting a bit tired and a bit weary, you can put your feet down and just go from side to side, but I want you to go really slow. Nice long breaths here to assist your movement. You've got one more on each side. Shoulders stay on the mat. Over you go. Use your arms to assist your stability. Pull back through the center. We're going to finish on the right side. When you get back into the middle, pause. Now you can do your stretch from here, or you could put your feet down and do your stretch. I'm going to do mine from tabletop. So we're going to drop to the left and we're going to go all the way. All the way. Feet could have been on the mat to get there. Knees are going to end right down on the floor, and you're going to look over your other shoulder. And you're going to breathe. Okay, knees are squeezed together, stomach muscles are switched on. You could keep your feet on the floor to go through the center, or you can come with me and pull them through the center and drop them to the right. Gaze over the opposite shoulder. Breathe, nice big deep breaths, inhaling and exhaling. Breathe in and breathe out. Okay, we're going to come back into the middle. Feet could be on the mat if you prefer. Either way, you're going to end back with your feet on the mat. So knees are bent, feet on the mat. Arms, slide them in down by your side. Right, body scan. Go back to where we started. Start with your head, neck and shoulders. What is now touching the mat and what is now not touching the mat. So maybe your shoulder that you felt was a bit higher than the other one is a bit closer to the mat. There might still be a difference. Think about your ribs. What's touching the mat and what isn't touching the mat. Go down through your lower back. Is it closer to the mat than it was before? Is there less of a gap? Think about your hips. Think about your arms and your shoulders and your arms in general. What's touching and what isn't? Your hands might still very similar, otherwise you might feel you've got a bit more range in your hands. Go back to the lower hips, how does that feel? And then right down to your feet, how does it all feel? With a bit of luck, you should feel that more of your body is in connection to the ground and the mat. You should feel that you've opened your body up, you've stretched your muscles out. You've worked hard to do it, but you've got that extra strength and mobility in your body. We're going to come up to sitting. You could roll onto your side, use your hand to come up. You could do an assisted roll up. I don't mind, but I just want you to come up to sitting, and I just want you to sit for a minute. You can feel quite lightheaded or dizzy when you come out of it, so you're just going to sit for a minute and make sure you feel okay. Then we're going to come up to standing, and we're going to finish with some standing roll up and downs. If you feel dizzy, just stay on the mat, rest until you don't feel dizzy, and you could add your rolling up down later on. Otherwise, come up with me. And come to standing. I'm going to stand a little bit further than my mat so you can see me. And you're going to stand with your feet hip width distance apart. You're going to stand nice and tall. You're going to have your arms down by your side. You're going to start by taking a breath in. And as you breathe out, you're going to bring your chin to your chest. And you're going to roll down. Your hips and your heels are staying in one line. And your arms are just hanging like they belong to a rag doll. You're going all the way down. Take a breath in there, leading with your tailbone. Tuck your tailbone under. Use your stomach muscles to roll yourself back up. You're going to come up to stand nice and tall, and you're going to drop your shoulders away from your ears. You're going to take a breath in. You're going to breathe out to bring your chin to your chest. You're going to roll yourself down. You have one long breath as you roll all the way down, and those arms of yours are just hanging. Pause there. Take a breath in. Breathe out. Lead with the tailbone. Tuck the tailbone under. Scoop through the belly. Use your tummy muscles. Slowly come back up to the top. Stand up nice and tall. Shoulders away from your ears. 2 to go. Inhale first. Tuck the chin to the chest. You're trying for one long breath all the way down. If you run out of air, you're going to make sure you take another breath. You'll pause. You'll breathe in. Lead with the tailbone. Scoop through the belly and slowly come all the way back up. You're going to stand up nice and tall, shoulders relaxed. You've got 1 to go. Inhale first, chin to chest. Long breath out all the way down. Let your arms hang. Pause. Breath in, roll back up. When you get to the top, we're going to go straight into a stretch. Take a breath in and breathe out to come onto your tippy toes. Take your arms out to the side. Bring your arms right up towards the ceiling. Lengthen your arms and return your heels to the ground. Inhale first. Exhale. And down you come. We're going to do one more. Breathe in, breathe out. Nice long arms. Reach and reach and reach and reach and reach. And down. Roll your shoulders. Roll them in one direction and then roll them in the other. Lovely. And then you're going to relax. Enjoy that class. You can use it on and off for the next 7 days. Have fun with it. See how your body changes if you do choose to choose or have the time to enjoy it more than once. And I'll see you all soon. Bye now.